You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that is not a sinking ship like some internet-based services. My name is Twitter verified Elon Musk.
I am also Twitter verified Elon Musk.
What a coincidence. I am also Twitter verified Elon Musk.
Guys, this is really weird. Because I am also Twitter verified Elon Musk.
Oh boy.
Bunch of muskrats.
Please like me.
Somebody please.
Somebody
Please clap.
Tell me I'm funny.
Yeah, tell me I'm a real funny, cool poster man on the internet.
We have a great show for you this week. A bunch of things we're going to get into. We have a couple weeks worth of stuff. Too much to list now, but we're gonna get into some stuff.
Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around.
You're gonna want to stick
this.
around, exactly. But first, let's talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out!
No, I've got the cliffhanger for the next part of the show.
Okay.
One of the creators of your favorite childhood video game character is going to prison, and we'll let you know which one.
Oh yeah, that's a good cliffhanger. I like it.
I'm calling clickbait.
All right, so yeah, let's talk about some things we've been doing. Haven't had a whole lot of time for stuff. Honestly, the end of the year is kind of my busy season with boring work stuff. One thing I did get a chance to do last weekend, or I guess it'd be 2 weekends ago now, Thunder Fury Comics out at the Marion Center Mall had their first round of Dungeons & Dragons Adventure League. Jordan and I both went out there, didn't know what to expect. Honestly, almost bailed for a second. We'll get to that in a second. But honestly, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
We had I've had very minimal chances of playing D&D. I've done one thing, and we built a couple characters that for games that kind of fell through, unfortunately. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it did take some time. We went through the entire process of creating a level 1 character, and then what Adventure League is instead of having an ongoing story that stretches multiple campaigns, they're basically one-shots that you can jump into. You just take your character sheet with you, and if your level that you're currently at matches what the campaign is, you just sit down, jump in, and go. There's not a lot of story. I mean, there's not a lot of room for like role play, that sort of thing, although there's a little bit there. It's more like you're jumping into a video game campaign level, whatever. But it's interesting that you get to sit down with people you've never met. You make new friends, you interact both as characters and as people, and you do like this 2 or 3 hour campaign, and it's a lot of fun.
Interacting with people?
Yeah.
In this economy?
Ew.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that does sound like fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I am a rock gnome warlock.
Oh yeah, I when you share that, I saw the Eldritch Blast. I was like,
Eldritch Blast.
Good choice.
He's a very rich, pampered boy who wants to make sure everyone knows that he is a rich, pampered boy.
I saw you had the noble background.
The noble background, and yes, his fatal flaw is the world does revolve around him, and he wants everyone to know how fancy he is.
What warlock patron did you take?
There's actually Unearthed Arcana, the extra rules for a Earth Genie.
Oh.
You can actually use genies, and their whole shtick is you get to carry a little bottle with you, and instead of acting if you're almost dead or something, you can use your action and hide inside the bottle.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You can't do anything else within it, but someone can pick up your bottle and throw it across
Get out of
the
here.
map and then pop back out and do whatever.
Get out of here.
But yeah, it's like that.
Okay.
But no, it was a lot of fun. Met a few folks, and they're going to be doing stuff like that fairly regular. Not sponsored. They're not sponsored yet, but they are going to be doing this stuff like every couple of weeks, I think. And it's It's not a have to sort of thing. You basically, if you have the week, the Saturday free, and you want to go, just bring your character sheet, sit down, and as long as the levels match, you just go. And it's really cool. It's really kind of drop in, drop out sort of thing.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, me and you guys have a check it out. We both did.
Oh, did you go see Black Panther? Wakanda Forever?
Yep, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is what I checked out.
Yeah.
I read the Wikipedia article, so
That's almost like watching the movie.
you know what? Sometimes reading the Wikipedia article for movies is even better than the movie because your brain gets to come up with all the better scenarios. I'm talking more like 80s bad horror slasher movies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, this movie sounds great. Oh, it's not.
But Black Panther, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was very good.
You know, for a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, I didn't feel like I was sitting there for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
No, it didn't.
There was always something going on.
Yeah. I mean, we're obviously not going to do any spoilers.
No,
Don't. And there's some big stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Yeah.
It's also a very emotional, heavy movie.
Yeah.
I've heard the first hour is pretty.
I was worried it would be too dour, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
really
some decent jokes. I mean, it's as far as like an MCU movie goes.
It's an MCU movie. There's going to be jokes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even comparatively, it's pretty serious.
Well, the first Black Panther was fairly serious.
Yeah.
As
Well,
well.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
kind of the way it goes.
It didn't feel like a dour slog like I was afraid of, though.
That's good.
It earned all of its like emotional moments and did everything with respect, and it was very good.
Well, good. The only complaint I've really heard about it is as really invested you get with the characters in the first half and how dramatic and how everything is. By the end of the third act, it just has the stock standard Marvel CGI fight mess.
Yeah, sorta.
Then again, I'm getting these complaints from people who are already predisposed to
not like the
not
MC.
like things.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I guess, but I wasn't. I like watching their stupid fights.
See,
Half
I do
the
too.
reason why I go to the movie.
Yeah. It's you watch it for the first two acts where you're invested, and then you turn the brain off.
Yeah.
And watch big dumb action punch 'em up.
And even then,
You get a little bit of both.
And even then, the big dumb fight punch 'em up had a lot of emotional weight to it. So it's like,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there is some truth to that complaint, but not a lot.
it definitely wasn't like Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
where it built up this great movie and turned into just a CGI fight fest at the end of the film.
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot more to it. There's a lot more nuance to it.
Like,
okay.
the last episode of WandaVision was worse about that than this
Yes.
Sure,
Yes, I
sure.
will 100%. Except for the part with the visions, but
was. Yeah. And I still loved WandaVision. That's not.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And again, these complaints I've seen are from people who are already predisposed to. They're either completely 100% checked out, burnt out from this,
Or they're looking
or
for
they're
something
looking
to
for
complain
a
about.
reason to complain. Yeah.
I will say, for the most part, it is a very beautiful movie. Mm-hmm. Like, the art direction is amazing.
Sure.
It showcases, more African culture, African cultural icons and looks and everything. It's amazing. But then they also bring in the whole Central American flair they've given to the Submariner, King Namor. They kept his color scheme correct from his comics, but they added a whole lot more embellishment, and it made his look just really pop for me.
His piercings are cool.
Oh, I know. He's got all these really neat, tribal piercings.
That's cool. I'm glad they did something a little different with Namor because Namor, well, he's a product of the
Aquaman.
1940s.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a guy. And I mean, I'm glad they kept him as kind of a jerk.
Oh yeah, he definitely has kind of like that jerk Aquaman from Justice League Unlimited
Sure.
kind of feel to him.
Sure.
Where
And that's
he's
what they were going for in
He's a
that.
good guy, but he's more concerned with his own people.
He's a good ruler.
Yes.
The only complaint I have is his little Atlantis city too dark.
It was a very dark scene.
They could have made this beautiful Atlantis city, and maybe there is one in there. but it was so dark, like it wasn't coming across.
Like it's almost like I think it was in a cave, or it's just so deep down that it's just dark.
It was a little of both, I think.
Yeah. But the looks of what you could see were really cool.
Yeah.
Like there's like a big like red Aztec-y pyramid in the middle kind of thing.
And they have like an artificial sun that comes
Yeah,
up out
yeah,
of
they
it.
have like an artificial sun.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
But
Maybe they
it's
were a
too
little
dark.
concerned that if they brightened it up too much, it would look a little bit too much like
CGI.
Asgard.
Oh, well, yeah, it's true. Asgard is very bright.
Very bright and
Very gold.
and the brighter and more opulent the effects in the Marvel movies get, the more likely that you're going to see, oh yeah, no, this is just a CG monstrosity.
Yeah, I'm watching a cartoon now.
Yeah, we're watching Attack of the Clones now.
Yeah, maybe it was partially a realistic thing because they wanted, if you say it's down in the bottom of the ocean in a cave, it's going to be dark, but also, maybe it's just to mask some less than stellar CG.
I think one of my biggest complaints visually, like all the Wakandan stuff looks amazing, except for one thing. Their stupid Wakanda boat submarine thing they had. I thought that thing looked dumb.
Well, that's just like the previous movie where the Wakanda looked great, except for the fight pit.
Oh,
where they're
Oh,
panning
yeah.
up and it's like copy pasted little gifs of
Yeah.
people standing.
Yeah, that was not great.
Yeah, that was not a good.
It looked better this time.
It
Okay,
did.
good.
Yeah, because they kind of brought the pit back a little bit.
They brought the pit back. Okay, cool.
They don't take as wide of a shot on it, I think, is why it looks
It's
better.
very-
Probably
it's very
for,
tight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they learned their lesson on that one.
But no, it's a very good movie.
Okay, good.
Martin Freeman, probably I would say almost the comedic / heart of the movie a little bit. Like some of the feels, I think. Like his confliction, I guess.
I wish his storyline would have paid off.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And it feels like they were leading up to reveal something for future film.
Well,
but
I heard they
don't.
revealed something for.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in the film, which I knew she was in an MCU project coming up. I didn't realize they were popping her in this fast.
Oh, she's been in a lot of
Yeah.
this TV show. Ones.
Has she?
Oh, yeah.
They're really setting her up to be almost the anti Nick Fury.
Well, I know she's in the Thunder. She's a pretty big part of the Thunderbolts.
She's going to be for knowing comic book properties and stuff. She's going to be the Amanda Waller of Thunderbolts,
Yeah. Oh, well,
or the Sam Jackson or the Nick Fury of Thunderbolts.
I
Basically.
mean, it pretty much plays out that way in the film too. Like, like she's at first she's like, oh yeah, she's kind of fun, but then she's kind of like not. But anyway, I digress. Movie is amazing. I got really kind of tearied up, especially near the end. It was just a good film, and it felt like a big punch to the heart like the whole time.
It's the best movie this phase aside from the Spider-Man one, but I don't know if that fully counts.
fair.
Yeah, I feel like Spider-Man might have been last phase.
It might have been.
No, it is the beginning of this
Of the current phase.
because
Okay.
that's when they introduce multiverse
Mul-
stuff that
okay.
has
Oh, yeah,
persisted
that's
amongst
true.
some of the other stuff,
Okay, that's
especially
true.
the shows.
I mean, though the multiverse has nothing to do with this movie at all.
Well, sure,
Thank
but
goodness.
that's,
Thank God.
yeah, right.
I'm so sick of it. Did you hear that new Sonic TV show that's going to be on, I think, Netflix? It's a multiverse thing.
Really?
I'm so tired of it.
Well, I know Bayonetta 3 is a multiverse
Yeah.
thing, and it's like,
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
felt Sonic Generations kind of already did that.
Yeah.
sure. And also Sonic Forces, and also,
Oh,
yeah.
But also, I was kind of lied to a little bit in an article that I had read that teased that we were going to get a Doctor Doom after credits scene in Wakanda Forever. There's barely even a after credits scene.
Yeah.
It almost didn't seem like there was one.
It did say Black Panther will return, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Of course.
Of course. Before we move off this subject, one last thing. I'm going to dance around a little bit. They introduce a new character in the film, from what I understand.
Technically, two.
Technically, two, but I don't know how much I should spoil because the character's action figure has been all over the place.
Are you talking Riri?
I'm talking Riri.
I don't think that's a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler.
No,
Okay.
she was in the trailers.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they introduce Riri Williams as Ironheart,
Ironheart, yep.
who is essentially a newer style kind of Iron Man kind of. I have had a theory, and it's been well documented. I've had a theory that they are building up towards a version of the Young Avengers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're coming up with younger analogs of all of the main Avenger characters. Does it seem like they introduced Riri at least partially as a means to extend that kind of thing? I mean, I know she probably has a bigger part in the movie because Ryan Coogler's a great writer.
Oh,
and was probably able to do.
yeah.
But does it seem, at least on the outset, that the character was like, you're okay, do what you want in this movie, tell your story. You have to put at least this character in for X amount of story because we have more story to tell.
Well, she actually fits in pretty well.
Yeah, she has a main plot point.
No,
she sets the story in motion, more or less.
And I understand that, but does it feel like, at least perhaps maybe a little bit, that was a studio mandate and not the writer going, I like this character, I want to use this character?
If it is, it's not hurting the film.
It's done well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's not
Okay.
like, oh, by the way,
here's Cousin Oliver.
Well,
like
gotcha.
it wasn't that kind of situation.
Okay.
that
was the thing I was a little concerned about.
Or kind of what they did with Spider-Man in Civil War. That is like, oh, by the way, here's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where they introduce Patriot.
Oh, yeah.
But not superpowered, but they give you all of the clues leading towards it. So now we have...
Mr. Policeman, we gave you all of the clues.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So...
No, they did it very well.
They did it well.
I mean,
Okay, good.
I'm sure the character was studio mandated to kind of give a soft origin to get ready for her own thing that's coming out.
Right. Her next thing that she's going to be in is Armor Wars with...
Well, she's got her own show coming. That's or movie.
That's
or
right.
something.
She has her own show, and then it's going to lead into the Armor Wars movie that is War Machine and Ironheart. And
also, I thought she was great.
Yeah.
She's very funny and
Okay, good.
and a good character, and her armor looks cool.
I've heard she plays off really well against Shuri.
Sure, yeah, and
and
it was good for Shuri to have someone that is
Like
her
her.
equal.
On her level? A
Yeah.
little? Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, she's not like Wakandan. She's like but no, the character she does very well. She's a lot of fun. Even when they meet her and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got this," and like police kind of show up. And they're like, "Oh man, she's got an Iron Man suit," and it looks like junk.
Sure.
It literally is like junk pieced together.
I've seen bits and pieces of like the early prototype and then the one at the end of the movie.
Like it's
I've
very
seen
it's
pictures
very
of that,
reminiscent.
unfortunately.
It's very reminiscent of like the cave Iron Man armor.
Sure. Well, good. I'm just glad the character wasn't just felt like it was shoehorned in.
No.
Like some of the other
Yeah.
characters that they've done. I mean, they even put a hat on it in She-Hulk when they go, "Oh, and by the way, here's my son Scar."
Oh yeah. It was a lot better
And,
than
and
that.
I really think that was them putting a lampshade on. Yeah, all these shows are introducing younger versions of all the Avengers.
I mean, yeah, we've got Kate.
And this is just like
we got Patriot, Kate Bishop, Wanda's boys in the
Wanda's
universe.
boys who are going to be aged up and are major characters in Agatha Harkness' Covenant of Chaos.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
And apparently Hulkling, not Scar, but Hulkling is going to be a part of,
I
version
feel like
of it.
Scar is going to be the Hulkling, unless they're going to introduce him in Secret Invasion.
They're introducing him in Secret
Okay.
Invasion.
So they are keeping with the Skrull storyline,
right? But they're probably going to split it so that he doesn't look as much like a Hulk.
like Scar did.
But they're going to have that way they can have their cake and eat
I mean,
it too.
Scar just kind of looked like young teenage Hulk with tattoos.
with tattoos. Yeah.
I've been playing Harvestella a lot.
Oh yeah.
The Square Enix's new farming JRPG. It is fantastic. It's very good.
It was the best looking one of all the farming ones that they
introduced.
showed off.
It's different from the other farming games I've played. They literally have bolted an action JRPG onto this farming game.
Okay.
Like you have a party of characters that fight with you. There's more than one town.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There's quests and a story.
It sounds like a real game.
It is like a real video game. It's a real video game, you guys. But along with farming, and the farming is never too time consuming.
That was going to be the phrase I was going to use if it was Because a lot of farming sims kind of go that way.
Yeah, like watering your plants is a pretty painless experience.
Okay, that's...
You can just hold down the button and walk around and it waters them.
Perfect.
Like,
okay, yeah, that is the metric, because there's a difference between a chill game and a tedious game.
Yeah.
And work.
Yeah.
you can't compare it to something like a Stardew Valley because it's kind of doing a different thing.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, you get a submarine in it, for crying out loud. It's very much, a JRPG bolted onto a light farming experience.
Okay, well, that's cool. That's good.
I've heard the Switch version doesn't run all that great, which is a common thread among Switch games nowadays. I would get it on PC if you were going to play it. But it's just very fun. Better than I thought it was. I was worried it would be a little jank because it was clearly not like a big budget thing that Square was doing. If you come at it like this is a AA video game, not a AAA video game, you'll have a good time.
Okay, cool.
And I've been poking around with the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection.
Oh, okay.
Which is like a combination of a bunch of crinkly, ancient, old Atari games and like a virtual museum.
Okay.
I love like game history stuff and retro game stuff, and I went into this thinking like, I'll look at it for 2 minutes and it'll be neat and that'll be it. I've actually learned stuff about Atari I didn't already know from this
Really?
thing.
Interesting.
It from the outset gives you a timeline, and you move through the timeline of Atari, and there's little video clips, like newly produced video clips, and like design documents and all that kind of stuff. It's very interesting. And Atari 2600 games do not hold up. They are not fun, but they are neat museum pieces to look at, and a lot of them
They're
are
an interesting
there.
curiosity at this point. Yeah.
It's like, you're not a good game,
No,
but I'll look at you.
I learned that I despise Breakout now.
Really?
In 2022, I am not a fan of Breakout.
Okay.
I don't have the patience for it anymore. There was a fun little video about drug use at Atari.
Oh.
Which apparently was very rampant unless you're the creator of Pitfall, David Crane, who is very adamant about how he didn't use drugs at Atari and nobody in his section did. And it's like, wow, you're such a narc. I didn't know the creator of Pitfall was such a narc.
Yeah. Well, when you have to when you have a 48 hours to make an entire video game, sometimes you need a little pick-me-up.
One of the guys said, like, I went home and I smoked some pot and I did some coke and then I dropped some acid and then I wrote the whole kernel to a program and it was beautiful and it worked the best. It's just like, wow.
Okay.
It was definitely the 70s.
Yeah, wow.
Wait, isn't that just a speedball?
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
But if you like game history and like learning about games, it's a great package for that.
Oh man,
Awesome.
a time what they did before they had Adderall.
All right, well, hey, let's go ahead and take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into some news.
Hello, I'm Ben Vaughn, the host of The Many Moods of Ben Vaughn, heard every Saturday night at 8 p.m. here on WZMO 104.7 FM. We span many decades, many styles, and many moods on my show. So tune in to The Many Moods of Ben Vaughn every Saturday night at 8 p.m. See you then.
The marketing department at WZMO suggested I do a new cutting-edge promo for Long Play. Short, quick, concise, to the point. Here goes. You're invited to tune in to Long Play, Friday night at 11, Saturday afternoon at 3. Great music, fantastic host, often referred to as the Casey Kasem of Marion. Full albums, front to back, here on WZMO. Whew, did it. Finished before I got cut off.
Hey, we're back from the break. You just listened to a couple of promos for other great shows on the network. Let's go ahead and get into some news. All right.
But wait, there's more.
we teased it before at the beginning of the show, so I guess we have to reveal which famous video game developer who created one of your favorite 90s heroes has gone to prison.
Or
been arrested.
Or been arrested.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not in prison yet.
All right, hit me with it.
It is Sonic the Hedgehog's father, Yuji Naka. And then, like, the sound of prison doors closing.
I wish I had that. Yeah, slam.
No, that sound worked really well. I loved it.
Apparently, he got in trouble with the, I guess, Japanese government for insider trading because while he was working on fan favorite Balan Wonderworld, he was working for Square Enix, and he got some insider knowledge about Dragon Quest, which is like the biggest game franchise in Japan, and bought a bunch of stock because of this insider information.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, and now he's in trouble for it.
Awesome.
No, he hasn't been involved in Sonic the Hedgehog related things for like a billion years, but like...
I mean, we can tell. But anyway.
Well, do you know what I think about all of that?
That's no good.
I should have saw that coming.
Oh yeah, you should have.
I really
should have. Yeah, it's wild that I don't know. It's game creators are people too, and they make dumb mistakes just like everyone else.
I mean, a lot of times it's kind of hard to be appalled at like a white collar crime like that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Also, he came from Sega, and Sega historically is owned by the Yakuza, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Or at least is funded in part.
I feel like Nintendo had to have some sort of Yakuza ties back in the day. Have you seen a picture of their old president?
Oh, yeah.
Not Hironobu Sakaguchi. That's the Final Fantasy man.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
What was his name?
I cannot think of his name off the top of my head, but
either.
I know what you're talking about.
He looks like a Yakuza boss.
He kind of does. Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, but to be fair though, pretty much everybody in 80s Japan kind of looked like that.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I mean, the leather jackets, the really loud shirts, the pompadours and the slick back hair. That was Japan. That was during the boom.
Yeah,
that was during
bubble economy.
The bubble economy in Japan in the 80s was all about that stuff.
Yeah.
The most important thing, though, is Shigeru Miyamoto would have never done this.
Not even once.
No.
Not even once.
He's such a wholesome Nintendo man.
Shigesato Itoi, maybe, but he would have talked himself out of it.
Oh, yeah, or he wouldn't have got caught.
He wouldn't have gotten caught. No, that's more accurate. Yeah.
Oh wow, this game is doing really well. How did I make all this money? Where'd all this yen come from?
All
like
right.
I said, you can't. I can't really be appalled. It's rich people making more money. It's the universe just rolling around.
And again,
That's capitalism, baby.
game creators are people too, and normally when they're in trouble with the law, it's because they've embezzled money or something along those lines. But
unless you're Blizzard, but anyway.
well, no, that's a whole.
There's another set of crimes.
That's a whole other.
I say those are crimes you can get mad at.
That's a whole other Cosby suite. We can't get into that.
All right.
Moving on. We have some other stuff. Should we touch quickly on the Twitter issue?
You know, let's talk about the blue bird in the room.
We did reference it at the start of the show also, so we probably
did.
should
Yeah,
hit
we
that.
should probably talk about that. Twitter's on fire.
Yeah, it's the Titanic and it's sinking.
It really is, and I didn't think
The funny thing is, I did see a meme where they had the musicians from play.
I've heard a lot of people mention that. Long story short, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Essentially, Elon Musk bought Twitter possibly under duress.
Well, he was forced to.
Yeah, he made a big joke and then accidentally signed something he shouldn't, and then the previous owners of Twitter came back to him and said, "No, you signed this. You are going through with this." And he bought it for some ungodly amount of money,
$44 billion.
$44 billion,
or something.
and started making changes to the social media platform without thinking them through, both changes on the user side and also
on the company
on
side.
the company side. He is, well, at this point, he has let go
Over half the staff at this
80%. I've heard at this
Wow.
point. Yeah, that was the big one last night.
And tried to beg some of them to come back.
Yeah.
That was the big one last night. It's all culminated. We're recording this on Friday what is this? The
18th?
18th. We're recording this Friday the 18th. So this all happened, came to a head at the 17th. And I was up all night reading stuff. It was crazy. But apparently, yes, this latest amount, he gave all of his remaining employees 24 hours to decide if they are willing to work under the new regime or not. And
work 12-hour days.
Work 12-hour days.
12-hour, he described hardcore days, which sounds like something a 14-year-old would.
Because it's it's who it is.
Because that's the kind of people that like Elon Musk.
well, yeah. But anyway, basically, again, most of the people decided to decline that offer.
And a lot of the ones that didn't decline it didn't really have a choice because they were under work visas.
Yes.
So they either had to agree to this or get sent
home. But because of this, they had an 80% reduction in force, and Elon then decided, hey, I am now all of a sudden very suspicious of all of my ex-employees. They're out to get me. So I'm going to shut down all operations and lock every Twitter building from now until November 21st. There is no captain on the ship. There is no one manning the lifeboats. Nothing.
I saw some tweet where somebody was joking. Is like, "Hey, I'm in the building on the 3rd floor in the bathroom."
I saw that as well. But so a lot of people are saying that this is the death knell of Twitter, and for good reason.
It's kind of wild to see the fall of Rome in real time.
It's very interesting.
like the social experiment of everything is just wild.
Yeah, and people are overreacting a little bit to this. It's not like one day they're going to tap the app or go to the website and it's just going to be a blank page. It's not going to happen like that.
It'll say can't connect to server. You'll get a 403.
You'll get a 403. Yeah, it's going to be a slow death. What's going to happen? Because amongst the people that no longer work for Twitter are everybody who is there in a capacity to manage the servers. So you're going to start seeing more and more bugs and issues and photos not loading, load times being very slow,
a lot of
downtime, that sort of thing. It's not an overnight thing, but a lot of people are likening this to the Titanic, or when MySpace went downhill hardcore, or when Tumblr went down. All of these social media platforms.
There's very one specific thing Tumblr did to shoot itself in the foot.
That's very true.
Yeah, Twitter too. Elon Musk bought it.
Yeah.
Tumblr's coming back, though.
Tumblr's coming back, baby.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw they were sending oh, by the way, you can post adult content again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And if you pay $8, they'll give you 2 verified check marks. That's not a joke. They'll put them next to your name, and also they'll send you little pins of 2 verified check marks.
That's
it's great.
Funny.
It's great.
You know what? I can't understand why how people can still I don't know, fangirl over Elon Musk. He's never accomplished.
It's the cult of personality.
I know, but he's never accomplished anything on his own.
Yeah, he buys his way into every.
He's a smart guy. He is a smart guy, but
in a way.
Not the way he thinks he is.
No, not in the way he thinks he is.
He's not Tony Stark.
No.
He didn't create anything.
No.
But he's good at marketing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bullied his way into being a founder of Tesla.
He thinks he's John Romero, the guy who created Doom.
Yeah.
And was also lived the rock star lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Because he created Doom, where he is a less talented John Carmack, the guy who has no personality and is
a programming robot master.
Yeah, but also Musk is less talented.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
In that sense, but
you should read Masters of Doom, by the way.
I need to. It's been on
good.
it's been on my list. I need to read that book.
I devoured it in 2 days.
Yeah. We got to bounce off this topic,
Yeah.
but we're going to continue to monitor. I'm not leaving Twitter yet. A lot of people are. I'll
Yeah.
be there when the ship sinks, but
Yeah, when it doesn't work anymore, that's when I'll do. And I don't
Dust
use
off
it,
your Tumblr.
I don't use it a whole lot anyway.
I look at it to get news more than anything.
Yeah.
I don't actually post.
I haven't
anything.
posted to my Twitter in like 12 years.
I post GIFs of my game on there, but I don't even do that as much anymore now that I can make TikToks of it.
I sometimes do stream of conscious stuff if I'm bored at work, but otherwise, it's more than anything. I use it to get news for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just
Yeah.
means we're going to have to find. It means we're going to have to figure out Mastodon or something. I don't know.
Which seems like it's
Hey,
not
maybe-
very
maybe-
well designed.
maybe-
It's not very good. It's not built for a wide user. Base like a
maybe
Twitter.
Google will dust off
Plus.
Plus.
At this point, I'd take Google Plus. I'd be fine with it. That was an okay social media platform.
or maybe Justin Timberlake will resell MySpace back to
MySpace.
Tom.
There we go.
If Google could just buy Twitter, that'd be pretty cool.
I'd be fine with that. Well, what's going to happen is one of two things. Either Musk is going to determine he's lost too much money and is going to sell it to someone who knows
Anyone.
anyone that knows what they're doing, or all of the disgruntled ex-employees are going to meet in a warehouse and in 12 hours develop Twitter 2.
Yeah.
And everyone will migrate to Twitter 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, there's already bits of that because the guy, Jack Dorsey, the previous founder of Twitter, has started a new social media thing that I'm on the waitlist for called Blue Sky.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be Twitter, but also email.
Wasn't
It's not great, but it might be a
what,
step in the
wasn't
right
that
direction.
the name of Jeff Bezos' rocket?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Wasn't it called Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Speaking of dreams coming true, Ash Ketchum.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah.
He became worldwide Pokemon master.
Only took him like 22 years
and
or
he,
something.
And he did it while being 10 years old the whole time.
Yeah. Congratulations, the oldest, youngest member of the Pokemon League.
Wait, so if it took him 25 years and he was 10 when he started, then he would be 35 now?
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
Oh,
he'd be
God.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of us.
I would like to see that. Somebody do that fan art of 35-year-old Ash Ketchum, please.
Wearing the same clothes so that they don't fit.
And see, I was thinking same look, but yes, the exact same clothing. Well, he's been out in the wilderness for 22 years, walking from town to town.
It's true.
I mean, he hasn't aged. Misty hasn't aged. Brock hasn't aged. When they do come back. Because once in a while, they filter in new companions for
Yeah.
Ash. Ash is the doctor.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
He's got 2 Poke Hearts.
Yep.
I wonder how many, if every episode was a day, how many days of the show would exist.
Well, I mean, there's one way to find out. You just look up
how many episodes
the
of
episode
Pokemon
count for
there
Pokemon. So, speaking of animation stuff, this is a sad thing. I don't want to touch on it too much because this is a happy fun time show where positivity is key.
Goof 'em ups.
Goof 'em ups, but I would be remiss not to mention the passing of Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman.
Yes. Kevin Conroy, legendary voice actor, most notably known for Batman from the 90s Batman, the animated series, and Justice League Unlimited, a bunch of video games.
Justice League Action, which is criminally under...
True.
Yes.
Action was so
Action
Yeah,
was great.
good.
I love Justice League Action. That was a good show.
The Batman Arkham games.
It's a huge bummer because he is.
It is.
He is
Batman.
He is Batman.
He's the definitive voice.
And not
of
only
Batman.
that, but unlike other voice actors and stuff, he absolutely adored his fans, and he, at the drop of a hat, would read anything in his Batman voice.
He did, yeah. Not only was he a great Batman, he was a great Bruce Wayne as well.
Oh,
He's one of the
yeah.
few actors that was able to
make the distinction.
Make the distinction, but still have it be clear that it's the two sides of the same person.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those like celebrity passings that really affected me personally, because it was such a huge part of like me growing up and coming into my fandom of like loving Batman and comics and things like that.
Oh, we were the age.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, while people argue about who the best Batman was, Kevin Conroy was always my answer.
Yes. Same here.
Just like Mark
Same
Hamill
here.
is my Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although an argument can be said for Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah.
At least in the Joker realm, there are like, you can go back and forth
There are
a little
facets.
bit with it.
There are facets. Unless you're talking about Jared Leto. But anyway.
I mean, you can take Joker in a lot of different directions.
Right.
Where Batman is more or less
the
you
same.
can go sillier, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And also the fact that Adam West was in an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, he's
As
Gentleman
Bru-
Ghost.
The Gray Ghost, yeah.
The Gray
The
Ghost.
Gray Ghost.
Gentleman Ghost. That's a DC villain.
Yeah, that's a different guy.
Yeah.
That's a villain, sir.
Yeah. I think the shocking part of it is it seemingly came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He kept pancreatic cancer is a hell of a thing.
Oh yeah.
And,
Like he
kept it quiet for as long as he possibly could.
Oh yeah,
And-
he was doing cons, he was doing cameos.
Oh, he was supposed to be in
He was supposed to be in Columbus next month.
GalaxyCon next month.
In a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually going to be a big reason why I wanted to go.
There was going to be a huge panel because they had gotten a lot of
They had him, they had the voice of Riddler.
John Glover.
Yeah.
Now, whenever I see the Riddler, I just think he's gonna sound like Dean Pelton.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
He's like the perfect Riddler.
he is. Yeah. But end of the day, this is a sad thing.
Oh, yeah.
Again, don't want to dwell on it too much.
And will be missed,
but
like, for probably decades to come.
Oh yeah.
oh sure.
Like,
yeah.
I think the only other one that hit me this hard was probably, like, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Because he was such a big part of my childhood, too.
Not to discount Diedrich Bader's Batman. Which
Oh,
is
no,
good.
no.
He's getting there because
Yeah.
he's done the voice in like 3 or 4 different projects, and he's a great Batman. He's a great kind of goofier
Yeah.
Batman. But
He's also good as the future narrator Weird Al in the Weird Al movie.
I still need to watch that. I haven't. I need to sit down and watch it.
That should have been one of our check it outs because.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
I'll save
talk
it
about
for
it next
next
week
week.
because
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it by then. So we have a little bit of time left, and I wanted to touch on something called Jeff Keighley Presents the Game Awards, sponsored by Doritos and Mountain Dew. Every year, Jeff Keighley gets all of his buddies together and puts on a fake award show about the video games. He likes to think like they're the Oscars, but it's not. It's just a collection of trailers with fake awards given halfway in between.
Yeah, then they don't even show all the awards.
They don't.
No,
They don't.
It's a commercial / party.
That's all it is. It's cool guy Jeff and his crazy best friends, basically.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, and it seems a lot like Jeff Keighley, who I mean he was a games journalist, from way back. It seems like it's like he just wants to meet celebrities, and this is his in for meeting celebrities. Like he was so stoked about Green Day performing last year. Green Day had nothing to do with any game that was out.
No.
It's just like,
It's like, hey, I want to get Green Day here. Hey, you want to play this award show?
I want to meet Billy Armstrong.
Yeah, Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yeah. So anyway,
Why couldn't we got Green Day doing covers of video game music?
oh, that would have been great.
Cool.
That'd have been cool. So anyway, they did the Game Awards haven't come out yet, but they have released all of the nominees for all of the different sections. And I was looking through them the other day, and some of them made no sense to me.
The real head scratchers.
The real head scratchers. So we're going to kind of fly through these. We're not going to touch on everyone. Like there's a bunch of esports stuff with a bunch of who cares, esports, blah. I mean, hey, it's great for them. They're doing their job. They're making their money. But esports,
I'm not.
I mean,
No-
it does
no
make video
interest.
games a little more mainstream, even though they've been pretty mainstream for a while now.
Okay, so this is kind of indicative of some of the categories. Best adaptation. So these are video game they've taken the properties from video games and put them into other media. Nominees are League of Legends Arcane,
Which is very good.
which I've heard is good.
Very good.
Cyberpunk Edge Runner, which is
I've
another
also heard
anime.
it's very good, actually.
The Cuphead Show, which is fun.
I still haven't watched it.
It's fun.
It's very Looney Tunes,
It's Looney Tunes.
rightfully. Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2
The multi-million-dollar film.
and Uncharted, the other multi-million-dollar film.
Tom Holland
with Tom
film.
Holland. Yeah.
So, like, what is...
It's all over
It's
the place.
kind of all over the place. And there's no real...
You can't put the Cuphead show up against Sonic 2 movie.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they both have roots in video games, but it's like they don't compare.
No, not at all. One's a movie with Jim Carrey in it.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. Best multiplayer. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Which just came out.
Yeah.
Multiverses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Overwatch 2.
Which has had just a litany of issues.
Yeah,
since it
it's
came
very,
out.
very, very tumultuous.
Yeah.
Splatoon 3.
Okay.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. One of these things is not
Yeah.
like the other.
Yeah,
That's couch co-op.
Yeah, the couch co-op beat 'em up game by an indie studio up against the Warner Brothers sanctioned Smash Brothers club.
Makes no sense. Okay, next category. Best sports / racing.
That's weird to combine sports and racing.
F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie Ollie World.
What?
You can't put these indie games up against FIFA.
Ollie Ollie World is a skateboarding game that is developed by like 3 people.
And it's barely even a skateboarding game.
It's like a 2D
platformer.
It's a great game,
It's a platformer.
but it's a different experience than NBA 2K22 or whatever.
It would have made more sense if they would have put like the Tony Hawk's Underground or
Something,
Tony
yeah.
Hawk's Pro Skater 2 remake or something
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, let's see. Best family game. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands.
This is the Nintendo Booby Prize. is what
Basically.
family game.
Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
Okay.
Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Which just came out.
Nintendo Switch Sports.
Okay.
And Splatoon 3,
Which just came out.
which just came
and
out.
is also in another category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the one.
Ooh, is this where
That
you get real mad?
It rustled your jimmies.
Here's the one that got me to put this on the list. Best fighting game.
Oh no.
I love fighting games. I'm
That
a
is
fighting
your
game
bag.
boy. This
That
is my
is your bag.
All right, so here they are. DNF Duel. Okay, it's a fighting game.
Fighting game.
It's pretty broken. It's not good, but it's fine.
Nobody talks about it. I've never heard anyone say a darn thing about it.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, which is
a remake of a previous game.
which is a remake re-release. So not a new game. King of Fighters 15, which okay,
Okay,
fighting
okay.
game, that's cool. Multiverses, okay,
Okay.
sure,
Game,
yeah,
yeah.
Smash, and Sifu.
Which is I don't want to say roguelike because it's the same every time.
It is not a roguelike.
It is a kung fu adventure game.
It is an adventure beat 'em up game. Do you know what that's not? A fighting game.
That's like putting Shenmue in there because there's combos in Shenmue.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It would be like, okay, the Matrix movie, documenting it as a romantic comedy because there's technically comedy, a joke, and there's technically kind of sort of a romance. Sifu is not a fighting game. It's not even a multiplayer game.
No.
It's an adventure game.
It's an adventure game.
Like I said in the chat, it's like if you called God of War a fighting game.
This is someone who doesn't know anything about fighting games that went, oh, that's Kung Fu, okay, fighting game. No, it's not.
It's like if you called God of War a child rearing simulation.
Boy.
Okay,
Speaking of which, God of War is up for about a bajillion awards, and it literally came out a week ago.
we're going to get to that, but first, best role-playing game.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to read these in backwards order because it's going to highlight my point. Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay.
As an
ARPG.
As an RPG. Triangle Strategy.
Strategy.
Okay.
Strategy,
but
RPG,
I guess.
but RPG. Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's an RPG. Yeah, it's an RPG.
It has action elements, but it definitely has turn-based battles.
Live Alive, which is a 20-year-old game that was remade.
Yeah, and an RPG.
RPG. Elden Ring.
It has
So-
a lot of RPG elements.
But is it an RPG? Or is it an action game, much like Sifu, but with RPG-like elements?
I mean, it's almost if you can call Skyrim an RPG.
Which I don't.
Okay, well, then there you go.
Well, but what makes an RPG though? I mean, there's stats that you augment and things like that, which are all elements of RPGs.
And that's in Elden Ring has plenty of stats.
Exactly.
It is one of those things where you've heard the phrase, I don't know if it's art, but I know what I like.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on the distinction between an action game with RPG-like elements and an RPG, but I can tell the difference.
It is definitely more focused on the action than
That
the
is true.
RPG.
That is true. It definitely is more about the combos and the timing and everything.
Yeah.
Versus, okay, well, I have these stats because I have this weapon, so I do this much damage. You know, it's definitely not like a Final Fantasy or a Dragon Quest.
It's a hard sell. I think there's better categories they could have put Elden Ring in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like you need a whole separate category for Souls-like games.
Like Game of the Year. Is it in Game of the Year?
I'll get to it in a sec. There's a few more of these. I'm scrolling through. Best community support. Okay.
Overwatch isn't on there, is it?
No, it is not.
Okay,
Thank God.
I was worried for a second.
Okay. Apex Legend, a game that no one plays.
That's not necessarily
A
true.
lot
A lot of people that
streamers.
play
Okay.
Apex.
Yeah,
Streamers.
Apex
yeah.
is very popular.
Destiny 2?
Still very popular.
Really? Okay.
They just came out with like another expansion, I
Yeah,
think.
and they do support their community quite well, it seems.
Final Fantasy 15, which I would actually put more as an RPG than anything because it is an MMO RPG.
But they do frequently come out with updates
Fair,
regularly.
fair.
And they support the community.
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah, actually, Epic is really good about supporting the community and stuff.
And No Man's Sky.
It has a community?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
just
It has a huge community of people who are like obsessed with it, but it's also like a very old game.
Very old and insular. It's like,
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Fortnite is 5 years old now.
True. So it probably really shouldn't be there either.
Yeah, but they're constantly doing updates and changes. They're actually getting ready to go into the new season here soon.
Okay, best
a new
performance.
chapter.
We're getting near the end. I promise. Light at the end of the tunnel. Best performance. Ashley Birch for Horizon Forbidden West.
I love Ashley Birch, but she also gets nominated for this every year.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's for the new one. It's for the new one.
Yeah, true.
Charlotte McBurney for A Plague Tale Requiem, a game that came out less than a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Judge, God of War.
Well, he's just the voice of Kratos. He's not the body of Kratos.
Menon Gage from Immortality.
That's by the guy that did Her Story. It's probably a good performance.
Probably a good
I haven't
performance.
played it yet.
And Sunny Suljic, also from God of War Ragnarok.
A game that literally came out last week.
Yeah. Audio design, skip that. Music and score.
You know who's probably not nominated? Tommy Tallarico.
He is not.
There's a new H Bomber guy video, if you know who that guy is,
yes.
about Tommy Tallarico and like what a big old mess that whole situation is.
Oh, cool.
It starts out as a video about the oof sound from Roblox.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do know about that.
And just like dovetails into complete madness. It's almost a 2-hour video worth a watch.
All right, we're going to skip ahead to Game of the Year because we got to wrap this up. Okay, there are 6 nominees for Game of the Year. A Plague Tale Requiem,
a game I've never heard of.
a game that just came out.
Yeah, and it's a sequel to a game. I don't know.
Yeah. Elden Ring,
Oh,
Okay. Deservedly so.
God of War Ragnarok, a game that just came out. Mm-hmm. Horizon Forbidden West,
A game that has been out that long.
and I don't think people have played.
No, I don't. It wasn't. It got buried by something. Elden Ring.
Yeah, it got buried by Elden Ring.
Just
like the first one got buried by Legends
Breath of the
Zelda.
Wild, yeah.
Breath of the Wild, yeah. Stray,
Okay.
about Cat.
Well, the big thing about Stray was if you had PlayStation Premium, you got the game for free.
Yeah. And I liked it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Would I put it on a Game of the Year list? No.
No, I wouldn't put that one on there.
It's not substantial enough.
It's super enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I played through it once. I got the story. I really don't need to play it again.
Yeah, oh yeah, I wouldn't go back.
Xenoblade Chronicle 3.
Deservedly so. I think it's time that one of those games got recognized.
I guess.
And I've heard this one is actually very good.
I've heard pretty good things. If they're going for Game of the Year, I am shocked. This is going to sound stupid on the outset, but go with me. I'm surprised Vampire Survivor isn't on this, because that game was $3. Everyone played it, and it is one of those games that you get so immersed into it.
Yeah.
That even though it's kind of jank, it's still a game that everyone played.
And you know what? It's honestly doing something different.
Yes.
It is its own kind of weird genre.
It's kind of nuts that a game like that, just because it's not a big, huge AAA game.
Yeah. They grabbed everyone's attention with a bunch of knockoff Castlevania sprites.
But it worked, and it's the best kind of distinct. Legally distinct.
I knew the game was good. Before a couple days ago, I would have said it's kind of overrated. But I've kind of fallen back into it.
Once you play it, you go, oh, I get it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I get this. I get why people are obsessed with this game.
And just like playing with the different loadouts you can get and like finding different combinations of weapons.
Maximizing your stuff and everything. Yeah.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It should be on that list.
It should be on that list, but because it's not a AAA game with a $1 million budget behind it.
All the other categories have a weird indie game slapped in the middle of nowhere, but not Game of the Year.
I guess technically Stray would be.
Yeah, I guess. I personally wouldn't call it an indie game, but some people would.
I wouldn't.
It definitely doesn't have the budget that God of War has.
Yeah.
No.
You're not going to see a commercial with Ben Stiller
as Kratos.
Yeah, as the cat.
I mean, that would be great.
Yeah.
But
No, they'd have to get like Alan Tudyk. He's been voicing animals for years.
all right. So I guess in closing, the Game of the Game Awards 2022 is going to be a real
It's
mess.
a farce. It's always a farce.
Yeah, the thing that gets me the most is that God of War being nominated for about 100 awards. Though it's been out.
We skipped over like a whole bunch of stuff here near the end, and God of War was on every single one of them.
I'm sure God of War. I'm sure that's fantastic. It looks very good. I'm sure it's deserving of awards, but it just came out. It makes the Game Awards seem even more like a commercial.
It's still warm.
Okay,
it's still warm.
I'm looking at the top awards. Not like the little stuff, not like art. Okay, so we have Game of the Year, Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, Best Audio Design, Best Performance.
Also, I feel like game direction is a bizarre category.
All of those have God of War Ragnarok. Most of them have A Plague Tale Requiem. Most of them have Horizon Forbidden West. Those are 3 games that either just came out, so really, technically, shouldn't be considered on this year's thing. It should be like next year's thing, because you need to have enough time to play it. Or a game that was eaten by other releases.
Also, they're all sequels to very successful titles.
Oh, they're all sequels. Yeah, they're all sequels. It's wild. Anyway, we got to wrap things up. Thank you for tuning in to Nerd Overload. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, for now,
For
Twitch,
now.
Instagram, and Patreon at Nerd Overload now.
You can email us at staff@nerdoverload.com.
When I set up the Nerd Overload hotline again, because I forgot again, you'll be able to call us on that. But for now, just hold on. Hold on to your voicemail.
Hold on to your hot takes.
Yeah.
We'll play them. We'll get to it eventually.
Just email them to us.
Or just email it to us. That's fine.
Email us a sound file. Honestly.
Hey, we'll take it. Yeah. You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Come at me, Jeff. Your awards stink.